What is up, Team JVS? We were back with another not a reaction, a review. If you guys want to see the reaction, you guys can go on my channel. But that's besides the point. I'm so used to saying that, But still, the review for episode 4 of season 4 of Superman and Lois. And I want to start off with saying, like, this show, specifically season 4, has been so good. And I know this episode was a little bit of a step down, and that's not a bad thing. A step down in intensity and in action, but again, it's not a bad thing. We got to push the story forward a little bit. We have a lot of explaining to do, and I feel like doing that in this episode made a lot of sense. We got so much. It was a gift, the first 3 episodes. So I am fully. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay with everything, dude. I really am. But I kind of just want to start off with saying again, hello, welcome. My name is Busy Braun. I look forward to covering every episode over here on Team JVS. So again, if you're new, show some love, like, subscribe, do what you can, help us out. But God, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, after last episode, seeing what they did to Sam Lane was brutal. It sucked. And I do want to say, I think they handled it really well. The monologue that the actor for Sam Lane delivered was one of the best monologues that we've gotten in this show, and some of the best acting too. And I do want to say, this show has had so many phenomenal moments acting wise, specifically last season too, especially with the things that we were dealing with, such as Lois and her cancer. There was a lot of moments that as an actor you have to be extremely dramatic and you got to show your range, and they did that, man. They did a hell of a job with that. And again, coming off of the last episode with Dylan Walsh as Sam Lane, he delivered such a powerful performance with, of course, the dialogue that we saw with him saying goodbye to Lois and how grateful he was and everything. And starting off this episode with the funeral, of course, makes sense considering that that's kind of how we left off in the last episode. But not only do we start off with that episode, we start off with the funeral, but we start off with Clark just coming back into the picture. And I'm not gonna lie, I truly expected to see Clark maybe at the end of the episode or in the beginning of the next episode. Like, I understand, if someone's getting a whole new heart, you would think it would take some time. But again, it's Superman. He's an alien. Logic can be thrown right out the window. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's whatever. I don't. I'm not mad that they went this route, considering that we're in a 10 episode format and things are a lot, like things are condensed. They don't have time to milk things, and they know that, and I appreciate that. I love how they dove right into things. Again, I am a little upset because it did feel like there was some times where the pacing was really fast, or they skipped over a lot of things that I feel as though would have been cool to witness, and I feel like they've done this in previous episodes too, such as when Sam Lane found out that Jonathan had abilities. They didn't even show his reaction to it. They just showed his reaction to him talking to Lois, like, oh, does he have everything? Like, all of his abilities. Not like, wait, John has ability, and I feel like even though that's not a big thing, it's just little things that I would like to see. And that's kind of like how it is with this episode, with we not seeing Clark reacting to Sam Lane being dead. He just popped up at the funeral. Or, not seeing his reaction to his son having abilities. They just kind of dove into it, And again, it's not the end of the world because the way they're handling it is super great. It's awesome. But again, it's one of those things that you would love to see, It's upsetting that they didn't show it, but again, I'm happy we got something, I'm not complaining. Um but that's just one of the things. But again, like, I do love how they're handling that. He can't dive into things right away. And again, if people find out he's alive, it's bad because with the whole Lex Luthor situation, Lex just sends his dog right after him. And the fact that he couldn't take him out when he was full strength, and now, he's in a position where not only is he not full strength, he doesn't even have that Kryptonian heart of his. He has Sam Lane, a 60-year-old man's heart, a human heart in his Kryptonian body. Like, this is already weird enough. I don't know if it takes a lot of time for it to kind of get used to, his body. I don't know the rules. Like, I'm not familiar with the anatomy of an alien. Of course, I don't think any of us are, but that's still the one of those things where it's like I'm questioning how everything's gonna go down, but it has me excited. And I know a lot of people had their thoughts on Sam Lane giving his heart to Superman. Like, people are like, how the hell are we doing this? Like, are we just coming up with ideas now? Again, I don't care. Like, I just love the fact that we were able to have a Death of Superman story that was actually entertaining, which was really well handled in my opinion. I'm happy with what we got. Like, I know a lot of people are going to have their own opinions about it, but we've seen this story before, and I feel like it was handles, this is one of my favorite ways they've handled it in a Superman story. Outside of the comics, I'm talking specifically like live action, whether, you guys know what I'm talking about, but still, it's been really cool to see how they've handled the whole situation here. And I am not mad, but I think we had a really, really cool situation, especially because we're always telling, you know, Clark is always in a situation where he's telling Lois, oh, well, you know, like try to be optimistic. They're trying to teach him to be positive. I don't know. But the same thing kind of goes here. Like they're, instead of telling him to be optimistic, they're in the situation where like, bro, like you got to take it easy. And he's always the person that's like on top of things. Like he always knew his limits. He's like, he's in a position where like he never really had to look out for his safety because everyone else is a little more fragile than he is. And now he has people telling him like, bro, like just because you're super doesn't mean you can do all this shit. And again, he's in a position where he has a heart that isn't used to that body. So like if he pushes himself too much, we don't know what could happen. And to see that really cool sequence with him and John, just racing away, and again, that was a really, really fun moment. And we've had Clark had time to train Jordan, and we've had a lot of moments where we've seen Clark kind of be a teacher, and I think he's learned a lot through teaching Jordan. So to be able to teach Jonathan, who is a lot more positive, a little more confident than Jordan was when he first got his abilities, we're seeing kind of like everything. We're seeing a more positive training session, if you will. Like everything was going perfectly. I was a little nervous. Like I was waiting for something terrible to happen, especially the scene where we have again, CG is amazing here. I love it. No complaints. But the moment we have Jonathan flying in that little like canyon, whatever the hell you want, I don't even know what you want to call it. You guys are gonna probably dog me for saying the wrong terms, but it doesn't matter. When he's flying and you have Clark like pull up, and instead of pulling up, he goes right through it. It's just to see him be like, oh well, you gotta think. But instead of doing that, he's like, oh man, that's another option you could have done. Like he was supporting him, and I loved how positive they were, and it really made me enjoy that dynamic because it just felt like a really, really positive, healthy father and son, moment, specifically when they were flying, and then just the smiles on their face. But of course that shut off pretty quickly, which we could all see something negative was going to happen when we hear the heart skipping a little bit. And of course Jonathan noticed that because his hearing is, he's getting better with the hearing. Of course he's not as good as Clark or Jordan, but he's getting there, which is pretty awesome to see. But of course it ended up leading to Clark, of course, falling. And again, I think that the whole CG, everything that they're doing here, it's just been so cool to watch. And I understand them having to shorten the season, but I think it's been a cool choice. Like again, it sucks that the show's ending, but I love that we're getting an actual ending, like an actual solid ending. These 4 episodes, the quality that we've gotten, they've been amazing. I have no complaints. And again, it brings me back to this episode being a little less than, the first 3, but I understand what they're doing again with pushing the story forward because we got Superman back in the picture. We got, of course, Chrissy and Kyle getting married, which again, I'm glad that we got these 2 actors. Kyle has been a character that I've enjoyed, but I love them getting back into the picture. And I know it's been a little different, specifically with the first episode having Sam Lane in the picture, and then the second episode having Sarah and Lana in the picture, and then the third episode we have Starlight and Steel, and now we're here with Kyle and Chrissy, and of course we do have Sarah in this episode as well. So it did feel weird not having Lana at the wedding. I don't even know. I'm not. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't remember, but I don't know if they even mentioned it. But that did feel a little weird. So there are moments where you do feel the lack of characters, and I think I mentioned this in some previous reviews, because it's like these characters have been around and they've been in like every episode. So it's like one of those things where it's like if they're not in an episode, it does feel a little weird because they're so important to the Smallville community. Smallville's already small as a whole, so when you're not seeing these familiar faces, it feels weird. So that is one thing. And again, I wasn't missing Lana in this episode. I didn't really think too much about it either. But it is one of those things that you do notice, obviously. But of course, on top of having the whole Superman family crisis, like we always do, and I think that's one thing that I'm really loving about the season, because the fact that we have less time, we're not dealing with a lot of the side stories as much. Which again, as much as I love the side characters, I don't really care for so much drama when it comes to some of those characters. As fun it is, I just don't. But to see how they handled Kyle and Chrissy's story, I think it was perfect. Like they didn't. It again, we're not getting every episode with them, so I think when we do get them, it makes it even more. It makes it even it makes it greater, because it's like we haven't seen these characters in a little bit, so we're already excited to see them again. So we're excited to see their story. So I was really nervous because of course Chrissy having her being hesitant, excuse me, with the whole marriage thing. It was a little weird. I understand. Feeling as though she's having everything thrown at her at once. It can be overwhelming. I get it, and I did love the interaction with them introducing her mom and her mom interacting with Kyle and Kyle, telling her mom how it is. I love your daughter. She loves me. This is happening, whether you like it or not. Like he was just letting her know. And I think the whole situation with that was just really entertaining to watch. But again, I've really enjoyed the dynamic between those three, considering that clearly Chrissy had some stuff with her mom. And I think that they handled that really well. Again, the actress, I got to look it up now, but it was really killing me because she is such a familiar face. I've seen her before, and it's really bothering me now that I'm kind of like thinking about it again. Like I don't like where do I know her from? I even think that maybe we've seen her in another Arrowverse project. Like I feel like we saw her in Arrow, but like I can't. I'm not even positive, so I could be wrong. But again, it's just one of those things. I really enjoyed that little side story. I think it's perfect, especially with Clark kind of easing his way back in. It's nothing too intense. It was just the perfect like way to kind of slow things down. Their little storyline. It made sense, and I enjoyed it. Um, of course, the whole Jordan thing. I'm glad that some of it's getting worked out. He has every right to be pissed about the entire manipulation between Luther and talking about you press one or two to save you know Jordan or press two to save Jonathan. He has every right to be upset about that. The choice she made is extremely valid. I think I justify it. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not in his position. Hearing your mom pick the other child is gonna be brutal either way. But then we understand a little more about why he's upset. And again, it's just one of those moments where I applaud the writing and the acting at times. Especially with Jordan. I mean, I think Alexander Garfin, I believe his name is. I think he's doing a great job, and he's done a great job. So to see his you know him talking to Lois and him saying flat out like I'm not mad, that you picked him. I'm mad because I know it was the right thing to do, or whatever. I'm mad because you were right. I don't know, but the some of the dialogue, it just really hits. And again, I think in every episode I've had a moment where I'm just like actually like hurt. Like it's like, oh my god, and this is no different. They've done a really good job with it. Of course, seeing Jonathan in action has been really cool. Him actually stepping up, him being a hero, has been really, really fun to watch. Because of course, we've had that with Jordan on multiple occasions. But as soon as he kind of gets into the mall and we see the hood fly off, I'm back to the moment where I was feeling with Jordan. I'm just shrugging. I'm like, dude, put your hood back on, or put on a pair of glasses because it works for your dad. Like do something. But it kind of led us back to Gretchen. To see her again was pretty interesting because, I mean, the whole thing with her dad and oh man, that was brutal. But I really, really love how they've been doing everything. I don't know, man. This whole thing has been a trip, but it's been interesting, man. I'm really loving with everything they're doing with season 4. Even the mentions, like of course we didn't get Steel, but we got a mention. So little things like that. We didn't get Lex, but we got a mention. It's just one of those things. But truly, truly looking forward to more of this. They've done a really good job again introducing um bringing Clark back into the fold. Something I love. Of course, I understand why they did it so fast. They got to push the story forward, and I love that they did it. I didn't expect for them to make him return in episode like 8, but I'm glad they didn't have him return in episode 1. And I think it's really helped some of these characters develop, give them a little more time to shine, and still having Tyler Hoechlin in the picture by showing flashbacks that's been interesting as well. I think they've done a really, really cool job with that. But there's been a lot, and again, this episode, get another crazy action sequence with Clark saving Jonathan from I'm pretty sure with this character with the fire. I don't even know who the hell that was supposed to be. He kind of looked familiar too, but it was just interesting to see. It was so cool just seeing him walking and the fire going straight off his chest. No fear, nothing. I'm surprised it didn't affect him, but it was just cool to see him take him out like that. It was great. But I don't know, man. I feel like I might be missing something, but I'm enjoying this. Of course, we have that moment between Clark and Lois, which I also thought was beautiful, where he was explaining how he doesn't feel like he's in charge or in control of his body anymore. And I just love the similarities and the comparisons to, how Lois must feel, especially after how and everything she went through in season 3 and the cancer, and how she even mentioned, like, every time I walk by a mirror, this is how I feel, like, and I think the like, obviously there's going to be points where they can't understand how each other feel because one's a Kryptonian and one, is a little different. One's a human, so it's like, obviously there are some things that can't be comparable, but that right there is just a perfect, I think that's a perfect example of, like, just them being a healthy couple and them helping each other like that. Because of course we had Clark trying to talk to her in the first season, I mean in the third season, and then now she's here, doing the same thing for him, like letting him know, like, I forget the line, it was the scars are there to let people know the battle you went through or something like that. And I just love how she delivered it right back at him, and it just makes me love her as a character so much more, because now that he needs the emotional support, which again I feel like there's a lot of times where in shows men don't get that, same treatment, where they don't have someone looking out for them or whatever. But again, Lois is just such a cool freaking character, and just to see how she understands him, and she's looking out for him and understanding that he's emotionally kind of messed up at this time, and she's actually giving him really really good, advice and talking to him. And I don't know, man, I love their dynamic so much. I mean, god, both Bitsy Tulloch and Tyler Hoechlin have been so cool to watch over the years, man. And God, it's been great, man. I'm so impressed with everything that I've seen with this show. Again, it sucks that we're at an end, but it's really cool that we're able to watch it together. But again, one of those things. I was really excited to see Sarah. That was cool. Uh, you know, I'm glad that she was in the picture because, of course, her dad getting married, and of course, we've seen her and Chrissy kind of get close over the years, or over the last year. So I think it was important that they did that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we've covered a lot. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I want to say a big thank you to all of you guys who have taken the time to just come over here and watch the episode, and I mean, watch the episode and then come over here and watch the review. And again, if you guys want to see my reaction, me watching the episode live, you guys can go to my channel and you can see me watch it for the first time. Of course, we already recorded us doing that, a little bit ago. So go check that out. You can see, my crazy reactions to not only episode 4, but episode 3, episode 2, episode 1. And we got other reactions from the past season. Season 3, we didn't record, but season 2 and 1, we do have. So if you guys are into any reactions, you can go check out my channel, which will be in the description. Of course, if you guys want to see more reviews, this is a place to be. Not only just to see me, talk about, a lot of stuff that we love, but we have a wide variety of content, like a wide variety of shows, different genres, movies, whatever, anime, whatever you're into. This is the place to be if you want to get a review, if you want to understand, well, maybe I should give it a shot. Maybe the show's good, maybe it's not. Because not only do we have full reviews, we have non-spoiler reviews where we can give you a little gist of what you're getting yourself into, just a little taste. So if you're into that, subscribe here at TeamJVS, and again, show some love by commenting. We love your comments, so please be vocal. Talk to us down below. Do what you can, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys are great. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.